looking out the front window. The tall man is scaring us.
I'm a police call operator, and I've got to tell you about the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. Even now, it's hard to believe it really happened. We later interviewed the relatives to get the full story, so what I'm about to share is from the perspective of the children, especially Kimmy's. I'm 12 and we were heading home from school when I noticed this really tall guy standing by the road. Couldn't see his face, but he gave off this creepy vibe, like he was watching us from behind a tree. My mom, she's like, "Kimmy, let's go." And off we went. She had to pick up my dad from the airport, leaving me in charge at home. "Can you handle it, Kimmy?" she asked. "Sure thing, Ma," I said, feeling pretty grown up about it. We get home, Mom whips up some snacks and heads out. The house locks up automatically. It's got this fancy password system. Charlie's glued to the TV, watching cartoons, and I'm on the floor doodling away. But I couldn't shake off this eerie feeling, like something bad was about to go down. I kept telling myself, everything's locked. Chill out, Kimmy. But my gut was screaming otherwise. And Charlie out of nowhere goes, "Can you see him?" I'm like, "Who, Charlie?" And he's all, "That guy outside the window." I rush to the window, and there's this super tall dude in a black suit and tie, standing under a flickering street light. His head's down, but his arms are freakishly long, dangling past his knees. It hits me. He's the same guy from earlier, near the school. I grab my binoculars for a closer look. His head's still down, but I take a peek. Big mistake. I jump back, dropping the binoculars. Charlie's frozen on the couch, eyes wide with fear. "We gotta call the police now," I say, grabbing the house phone. I dial, peeking out the window. The guy's now closer, standing right in the middle of the street. 911, what's your emergency?" The operator's voice crackled through the line. "Someone followed me and my brother home from school. He's outside our house now," I whispered. "Okay, calm down. What's your name?" "Kimmy," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "He's looking at our window." "Where are your parents, Kimmy?" "My mom went to pick up my dad. It's only me and my brother in the house." "Okay, Kimmy, stay with me on the line. The officers will reach you soon." "Please hurry, I'm scared." I kept glancing out the window during the call, and every time I looked, the man seemed to be inching closer to our house. "Kimmy, can you describe what he looks like?" the operator asked. "He has no face and he's tall. Very tall. He's scaring us. Please help." I stammered, my eyes locked on the window. Suddenly, there was a shift in the atmosphere. The streetlight outside flickered erratically, casting eerie shadows across our living room. I looked outside the window again, and my heart nearly stopped. The faceless tall man was gone. "Did he go away, Kimmy? Can you hear me?" The operator's voice brought me back to the present. "I can't see him now. I think he's hiding." "Oh God," I cried out. Just then, a series of slow, deliberate knocks echoed through the house, sending shivers down my spine. "He's trying to get in," I whispered into the phone. The knocks quickly turned into violent banging, as if whoever, or whatever, was on the other side, was using their full force to break down our main door. "The cops will be there any moment, Kimmy. Just take your brother with you and go to the bathroom. Lock the doors and don't come out until you hear..." But before the operator could finish, a loud crash interrupted her. A rock had been hurled through our living room window, shattering the glass. "Oh my God, he broke the window," I screamed, panic overtaking me. I grabbed Charlie's hand, and we both started screaming for help. Then I saw it, a hand reaching through the broken window. The fingers were long, bony, and grotesque. Slowly, a tall, shadowy figure began to climb into our living room. The faceless man now stood towering over us, his head scraping against the ceiling. He reached out his enormous arms towards us, and I felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Everything started to blur, and my vision began to fade. "Hello, Kimmy. Are you all right? Hello, anyone there?" The operator's voice sounded distant. "I'm fine now. The faceless man is our friend now. He just wants to play with us," I heard myself say, though my voice sounded distant and detached. "Where is he?" "Don't worry, they're with me now. I'll keep them safe," a deep, unfamiliar voice responded through the phone. "Hello, sir. Don't do this. Don't harm them," the operator pleaded. "No, I love children. I should get back to playing with them now," the voice said. and the line went dead. People are still debating if it's proof of the Slender Man or something. Listen to it and let us know what you think in the comments.
Someone followed me and my brother home from school. Our parents are not home.
Have you seen this person before?
No. Can you please send help?
Where are you now?
At home, in the living room. I'm looking out the front window. The tall man is scaring us.
Where is this guy?
In front of the house.
What is he doing?
He's standing behind a tree. He's very tall. Help us. I'm scared.
What was that?
I don't know. The lights went out. I'm scared.
Help is on the way.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
What's happening?
He's looking at me. He has no face. His face is gone.
Calm down. Does he have a mask on?
No. He's coming. He's coming.
Calm down. Help is on the way. As long as he's outside and you're inside, you'll be fine. Describe him to me.
He has a suit on and a tie. He's very tall. He has long arms. He's bald.
What is the tall man doing now? What's the matter?
He's in front of the window, facing me.
Back away from the window, get your brother, go into the restroom, and lock the door. Young lady, are you okay? Hello? Are you there? Hello? Young lady, are you okay?
I'm fine now. I'm not scared anymore. The tall man just wants to play. He's my friend.
Where is he? Stay with me now. They're safe. Who are you? She will be missed. Sir, please don't do this. I see you, operator. You're scared. I feel your worries. And your doubts. The one you call Millionaire will be mine too. How do you know my daughter's name? Goodbye. Hello?
Back in January 2017, I had this spine-chilling experience that still haunts me. I was home alone when it all began. This guy in his car pulled up right next to me, offering a ride. I politely declined, saying my house was just around the corner. Little did I know that brief interaction would lead to something so unnerving. The very next day, I noticed the same car parked outside my house. It was sickening. The car kept showing up, day after day, just watching. It felt like the guy had some sort of fixation, and it was downright creepy. Things took a darker turn when he confronted me again. This time, he came up with a flimsy excuse about needing help at his house. I wasn't falling for it and firmly refused. But this guy, he was relentless. Later, in a different car, he left a note in our mailbox. The note was bizarre, repeating his request for help, and he even included his phone number. It was like he was trying to lure me into something. I didn't dare call the number. Instead, I reported him to the police. The police investigated, but they quickly let me know that legally, he hadn't really done anything wrong. So, they said there wasn't much they could do. That's just great. Are they waiting for me to get hurt or snatched or something? Here I was feeling threatened and scared in my own home, and there was nothing the law could do to protect me until something actually happened. Being home alone during this ordeal was terrifying. I kept checking through the windows, half expecting to see him lurking around. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming, and I couldn't shake off the fear that he might be planning something sinister. That night, the fear I felt was on a whole new level. I heard the familiar sound of a car pulling up outside, and through the curtains I saw it was him again. My heart was racing as I watched him step out of the car. He had this cautious, almost predatory look as he scanned the area before making his way to my front door. In a panic, I quickly turned off all the lights, hoping to give the impression that the house was empty. But what happened next was something straight out of a nightmare. He started knocking on the door, each knock louder and more desperate than the last. I was rooted to the spot in fear, my mind racing with questions. Should I hide? Should I confront this creepy guy? The knocking intensified, turning into a relentless banging. I could hear his voice muffled through the door. I know you're in there. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. I love the way you pickle in front of your bedroom mirror. My heart dropped. How the fucking hell did this creep know I pickle in front of the mirror? It was close to the window, but he shouldn't be able to see it. Panic surged through me. This wasn't just some random stalker. He had been watching me, observing my private moments. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt exposed, vulnerable. My own home, which was supposed to be my sanctuary, now felt like a glass house with this man peering in. I backed away from the door, my mind a whirlwind of fear and confusion. I needed to act, to protect myself, but I was paralyzed by the thought of this man knowing intimate details about my life. The situation had escalated from creepy to downright dangerous. I felt like a trapped animal, unsure of what my next move should be. The banging continued, growing more aggressive by the second. It was as if he was trying to break down the door with sheer force. I considered calling the police, but my phone was in the other room, and I was too scared to make a move. Suddenly, the banging stopped. The silence that followed was almost more terrifying. I cautiously peeked out the window and saw him walking back to his car. Before he stepped into his car, he paused. But the way he paused, looking back at the house with a calculating gaze, sent shivers down my spine. It was as if he was planning his next move, contemplating a more sinister approach. I watched, holding my breath. Finally, he got into his car, but instead of driving away, he just sat there, staring at the house. I was paralyzed with fear, wondering what he was waiting for. After what felt like an eternity, he finally started the car and drove off, but the relief was short-lived. I knew this wasn't the end. The rest of the night, I was on edge, jumping at every little sound, dreading that he might return. Every car that passed by made my heart skip a beat, fearing it might be him coming back to finish what he started. That night, I didn't sleep a wink. The fear of him returning, of what he might do next, haunted me. It was a clear reminder that sometimes the most ordinary moments can turn into your worst nightmare, and the feeling of safety in your own home can be shattered in an instant. This wild thing happened to me when I was about 18. I was living in Iowa City and had just lost my part-time retail job because the company was going broke. My folks were like, "You gotta pay rent or we kick you out." Tough break, I know. I was scrambling to find a new gig. Also, I was juggling college part-time, which didn't make things any easier. Weeks flew by and I was still jobless. Then, out of the blue, a buddy of mine calls up. He's heading out on vacation and needs someone to watch his dog. His usual sitter had moved away, and he was kind of desperate. The deal was $600 for 3 days of dog sitting. Not a fortune, but hey, I needed the cash. So, I said yes. His dog, Jim, was this super cute saddleback German Shepherd, total sweetheart. I get to his place, and there's this list of doggy do's and don'ts. Feeding times, walks, the usual drill. First night goes smooth, no hiccups. But the second night, that's when the whole shit show started and got really spooky. It's around 8 or 9 p.m. I've ordered some food, chilling with a movie, and Jim's right there beside me. Suddenly, she perks up, ears twitching, like she's heard something. We're next to this wooded area, so I'm thinking maybe it's an animal outside. But then, she starts barking like crazy at the hallway. I was in the living room, my heart racing, with Jim barking her head off at the basement door. The tension was unreal. Then, out of nowhere, there was this slow, deliberate knocking coming from the basement. It wasn't loud or frantic, but it felt calculated. I was frozen, listening to this eerie knocking, and it felt like time had stood still. The knocks were spaced out, making each one more unnerving. My mind was racing with all sorts of horror movie scenarios. Was it some psycho? A ghost? I had no clue, but I was scared out of my wits. Jim's growling got more intense, and I swear it felt like the air in the room got colder. I was clutching my phone, praying for the cops to show up any second. Then, the knocking stopped. Just like that. Silence. The kind of silence that's almost louder than noise, you know? I was straining my ears, trying to hear any movement, but there was nothing. It was like whoever or whatever was down there had vanished into thin air. But then the silence broke. I heard footsteps, slow and heavy, coming up the wooden stairs from the basement. Jim's barking turned frantic, like she was trying to warn me or scare off whoever was coming up those stairs. The footsteps reached the top, and there was this pause. I was holding my breath, waiting for something, anything. And then, the basement door handle started to turn. I was backing away, ready to bolt or fight, whatever it took. But just as the door started to open, the sound of sirens filled the air. The cops. They were finally here. Relief flooded over me, but I was still on edge. I heard the person in the basement bolt back down the stairs, and there was this sound of a door slamming shut. The cops swarmed the place, and I was outside, trying to catch my breath, telling them everything. They went down into the basement and found this hidden room. It was like stepping into a different world. The first thing that hit me was the smell of piss and shit. It was sick and disgusting, a stench that clung to the air and made me gag. The room had all this stuff that clearly didn't belong to my friend: stolen goods, food wrappers, and that sleeping bag. Someone had been living there, right under our noses. The realization sent chills down my spine. How long had they been there, and what were they planning? It was a terrifying thought. My friend was shocked when he got back. He had no idea about the room, or that someone had been hidden in his basement all this time. He paid me extra for the ordeal, but honestly, I was just glad to be out of there. The thought of someone lurking in that hidden room, watching, waiting, it gave me the chills to this day. It's a reminder that even in the most seemingly safe places, you have to be watchful of your home's security and locks. This experience taught me to always be vigilant and to never take the safety of my surroundings for granted.